This is Housing News 360. The headlines: Senators clash over Tinubu's housing program. 700 billion naira required to maintain federal roads annually. Rivers plans elderly home, remodeling of children's home. From the foreign scene, United Kingdom homeowners brace for higher mortgages as borrowing costs spike. Abuja senators were at daggers drawn yesterday over the effectiveness of the president's renewed hope housing scheme, following the heated exchange of words that trailed the budget defense of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Quarrel among the senators who are members of the Senate Committee on Land, Housing and Urban Development reared its head immediately after the Minister of State of the Ministry, Yusuf Abdullahi Gwazo, presented the 2024 budget performance of his ministry. This was after the chairman of the committee, Senator Aminu Tambuwa, declared the floor open for members to comment. The bone of contention was about the feasibility of the project under the management of the ministry scheme, reaching ordinary Nigerians, the intended beneficiaries. Politics and political differences played out when two senators, Abdul Ningi and Jimoh Ibrahim, from APC and PDP respectively, openly disagreed on the implementation of the renewed hope housing project of the Tinubu administration. The Minister of State for Works, Muhammad Goronyo, has expressed concern that the current budgetary allocation to the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency is grossly insufficient, given the critical role the agency plays in maintaining and repairing roads across the country, as well as the vast scale of the tax responsible for nationwide. This is said the agency needs over 700 billion naira yearly to maintain federal roads nationwide. Goronyo, who is the supervising minister of the agency, made this opening presentation at the budget defense before the joint session of the Senate and Housing Committees on FEMA. A statement by the FEMA Director of Information and Public Relations, Mariam Sanusi, said the agency defended its budget proposal of 64.88 billion naira, comprising of 4.9 billion naira for personal cost, 33.468 billion naira for overhead cost, and 26.487 billion naira for capital cost for the 2025 fiscal year. It stated that the amount is lower than the 77 billion naira proposed for the year 2024. However, this budget prioritizes major chunks of roads within the 6 geopolitical zones, aligning with Mr. President's development and economic recovery objectives of the renewed hope agenda. Leadway has donated 117 million naira in relief packages and cash to the Borno State flood victims in response to the floods that have devastated communities across the state. The disaster affected over 1 million residents, displaced thousands, and caused significant damages to infrastructure and property. The donation, which comprises essential cooking supplies and hygiene products valued at 92 million naira and 25 million naira cash, was offered to the Relief Fund and a non-governmental organization providing critical services to the displaced persons for distribution to them by individuals identified by the Borno Flood Relief Project Committee. However, the Group Chief Executive Officer, Leadway, Tunde Hassan Odukale, deeply empathizes with the people and government of Borno State during this difficult time. The Rivers State government has disclosed plans to establish a home for the elderly and the remodeling of the children's home in Borikiri in Port Harcourt. The State Commissioner for Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, Mr. Ilamu Arugu, disclosed this during a meeting with his management staff to take an appraisal of 2024 and make projections for 2025 at his office in Port Harcourt. Highlighting what he termed significant progress in various areas, the Commissioner said the ministry achieved remarkable milestones in 2024 and successfully surmounted the challenges faced to make significant advancements, particularly in child welfare and social services generally. He, however, stated that the ministry's targets in 2025 include establishing a proposed home for the elderly, partnering with relevant non-governmental organizations to monitor homes using specialized software in enhancing the management and care of children in orphanages. In a decisive move to address safety concerns in the construction industry, Kenya's National Construction Authority has introduced strict measures to clamp down on unlicensed contractors and unsafe buildings. This initiative coincides with the launch of the National Building Code, a landmark policy designed to tackle the frequent building collapses that have plagued the country's residential and commercial spaces. The new building code outlines rigorous licensing criteria, enhanced inspection protocols, and severe penalties for those involved in substandard construction practices. The Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahom also appealed to the public to hire qualified professionals for their projects, warning against the dangers of cutting corners in construction. From the foreign scene, hundreds of thousands of United Kingdom homeowners are facing the prospect of higher mortgage rates after a spike in the country's borrowing costs. Major high street lender Virgin Money on Monday increased its new 2- and 5-year fixed-rate mortgages by 0.2% with similar hikes to some of its remortgage deals. David Hollingworth, Associate Director at L&C Mortgages, however, stated the markets were already becoming less optimistic about how quickly and how far the base rate might fall this year. Mortgage lenders had been expected to lower borrowing costs this year alongside an easing of interest rates. But concerns over the country's economic outlook have contributed to a sell-off in United Kingdom government bonds, also known as gilts, pushing back these expectations and suggesting that borrowing costs could stay higher for longer. For more housing news, catch up with Housing TV across all social media platforms.